You might not like me, you might not like how I do things, but one thing you will do is respect me and respect my wishes. So I'm going to be installing my hair while we chit chat, and today's wig is from Asteria Hair. I remember when I just got into YouTube, this was pretty much 2016, 2017. I mean, creating content. I would see Asteria Hair everywhere, and I've actually worked with them in the past when I initially started. The repetition they had all those years was pretty high. Everyone wanted to wear Asteria Hair. Everyone wanted to have a hair or a wig from Asteria Hair. I think the last time I worked with them was probably maybe 2 years ago. They sent over this curly unit. It feels so soft. Oh my god, I'm not sure what type of curls this is, but I don't think I've had curls that look like this. I know it is 24 inches, 13 by 4 frontal, and the frontal is done. Look at the frontal to perfection. Pre-bleached, pre-plucked, pre-styled. You know that's how I like my wigs to come. And this lace is Invisible HD. It is HD. I know I'm going to have a good time installing this because everything just seems seamless. It also comes with the hooks inside as per usual, and also has the elastic band inside. It comes with the elastic band inside. Typically I don't use this, but right now I am using it because your girl is almost bald. I did a big chop and that was like 2 months ago. My hair is growing back really fast. When I tell you I did a big chop, I cut off all my hair. Like I was literally bald 2 months ago. I don't know how my hair is growing out so fast. Actually, I do know. I'm using some oils that have been working wonders in my hair, and as well as taking a supplement that is really spiking up the growth of my hair, and I absolutely am here for it. Coming from someone that was struggling with natural hair issues. But I digress. Let's go ahead and install this wig and then chit chat. By the way, this is how the hair looks on my head. Right now, I'm just going in and I'm cutting the extra lace at the side. We're talking about being selfish. Why being selfish is good for you. Why you should start being selfish today. When you hear the word selfish, it's typically on a negative light or on a negative note. But honestly, being selfish is not always negative. There is negative aspect to being selfish. We're talking about the good side of being selfish. Why being selfish can actually improve your life. How being selfish in a healthy way can help you have a better life, a happier life. You can enjoy your life just by implementing healthy selfishness into your daily routine. You can definitely be selfish and be a good person because you being selfish is not harming anybody else. It's just for you to have a peaceful life, doing things that make you happy, not considering how other people feel about what you're doing that makes you happy, if that makes sense. And this is not one of them things that I would talk about and say, oh, I had to learn to do this, or I worked on this part of myself. People might not know a lot about me. People don't really know my ins and outs, but if there's one thing they will say, Lucy will not do that if she doesn't want to. Lucy will not come if she doesn't want to. You can't make Lucy do that if she doesn't want to do it. You can't force Lucy to do what she doesn't want to do. That's one thing I'm certain I can beat my chest that people would say about me. At least they know that. And that's okay, because sometimes when I hear people say things like that, it's not usually in a good light, like, oh, she has a mind of her own. It's typically in that way of like, oh, she's stubborn, or you know, she does too much, she analyzes things a little too much. It always comes off as negative, has a negative tone to it whenever I hear people say this about myself. And the thing about it is, I'm not fazed. I'm not even angry. I don't even feel a type of way because I am well aware that I'm not for everybody. I don't expect everybody to like me. I don't expect everyone to understand me. I don't expect everybody to understand the choices that I make. But one thing that you will do is respect my wishes. So you might not like me, you might not like how I do things, but one thing you will do is respect me and respect my wishes. So don't cross your boundaries. Do not cross your boundaries. You can have your opinions about me, and that's how I live my life. That could come off as being nonchalant or not caring about how other people feel, which I can understand that. But at the same time, I'm not going to do what I don't want to do or I don't feel good doing. I'm not going to do things just because you want me to do things. I'm not going to deprioritize myself to prioritize you. I'm not going to go out of my comfort zone to do things that make you happy while I'm sad. I'm not a people-pleasing type of person. I will not displease myself to please you. And that's my definition of being selfish. Putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your happiness, your peace, your life, your choices, prioritizing every aspect of you before anyone else or anything else. So when I say being selfish, yeah, I will pick me over anything or anybody any day. I don't care. That is what being selfish is. And if you don't have a mindset like this at this point in your life, you have a lot of work to do, because people will ride you, people will step on you. You're not living a happy life. You're not living a life for yourself, but you're living for other people. So you need to start having a mindset that it's me. I come first. I choose me. Always choose yourself. It doesn't matter the situation. Choose you. Let you be your focus. Let you be your priority. Let you be your center, your primary target. Just everything has to be about you in your life, okay? Would that make me feel okay? Would I be happy doing this? If I embark on this trip, go to this party, go to this event, how will I feel? How does it make me feel? That should be your thought process when you're getting into things, when you're doing things, when you're living life, is how do I feel about this? You get an opportunity, you need to ask yourself, oh, how does this opportunity make me feel? How does it tie into my life? How does it add value to my life? Does it even add value to my life? This is how you're supposed to be thinking. And this is what healthy selfishness means to me. Prioritizing me, making me the center of my life, making me happy at all times. I feel like this is a mindset that scares a lot of people, because they feel like there's a thin line between like negative selfishness and healthy selfishness, which I can understand. There are people that OD on this selfishness to the point where they could see something going bad right beside them and not care, you know, like as long as it doesn't affect them personally, they don't care. When people just care too much about themselves to worry about people around them, you know, this is not that. With situations and life and experiences, whether good or bad, can be OD'd. So you could have something that is generally good and people perceive it as good, but when you overdo that good thing, it becomes bad. Everything is a balance. I always say that everything is a balance. You just know when to pull out certain cards in your life. So in terms of selfishness, you know when you need to be selfish. You need to know when selfishness is the answer. It's the only thing you can be at that certain point. It's the only solution. To stand on your 10 toes and pick you and make a decision on the spot, like quick, you or them, me or you in this situation, you pick yourself every single time. I definitely feel like as a human being, if somebody else prioritizing themselves in any situation offends you, someone telling you no, someone canceling plans because they don't feel good or they have a weird vibe or feel a type of way about certain things, they don't personally feel right about a certain decision or an opportunity or an event, just anything, somebody actually choosing themselves and how they feel. If it offends you, you specifically have a lot of work to do with yourself, because you have a control problem, you have a boundary problem, you have insecurities. Because how can somebody choosing themselves offend you so much that you stop communicating with them, you stop being friends with them, you completely push them out of your life just because, oh, how dare she cancel on me, or how dare she not agree with me? She must not prioritize me in her life or be a good friend to me just because she does not have the capacity to be there in the way that you want her to be. That very moment, she's choosing herself. Any other time, she probably maybe might have the space or the room to accommodate whatever it is that you want her to accommodate. But the times where she's not able to do so and she's expressed to you that she's not able to do so, and she picks herself at that very moment, is not grounds for you to end your friendship or to be offended. You respect people's boundaries, you respect people's choices and their needs and their wants and their wishes. So if you have a problem with people actually setting boundaries with you, you are insecure. You have a control problem. You might actually be a narcissist and you don't know that. Because how can somebody living a life of happiness, someone trying to find themselves, someone actually having an opinion, offend you? How can that offend you? This is why sometimes when I see situations or things happen to me personally where someone is offended because I'm outspoken or because I canceled plans just because I don't like the guest list, because I don't feel comfortable in spaces like that, and then they're like, but I am inviting you, I will be there, so you should be comfortable. It's not about you, it's about me. It doesn't matter if my mother will be there or my father will be there or my sisters will be there, heck, my husband, my boyfriend, my fiance. It doesn't even matter if my children are there. If I don't feel comfortable being there, I'm not going to be there. There are a lot of people that have gotten offended with me, sometimes even stop speaking to me just because I'm not who they want me to be. I'm not doing things they want me to do in the capacity that they want me to do it. Because sometimes I actually even do those things, but in the capacity that I can offer, the capacity that I can do things. But there are people that don't like those because they want you to deliver in their expectation, exactly how they've painted the picture. But you don't have room for that. You're not able to mentally carry that weight, and that's fine. And it's also okay when people walk away from you or walk away from your life because of things like this. Actually, I would really, really appreciate it that people show themselves earlier on in friendships, relationships, all of that, just because I scare them or my opinions scare them or my choices scare them. Me loving myself too much, setting boundaries scare them. Yeah, bring it on. I love it when people actually show me who they truly are, what they truly think of me, how much they value and respect me, how much they want good things from me in my life. I would definitely think that if you're my friend, you have good intentions towards me. If I step away from certain things, I give you my reasons. You should be proud of me, because I would be proud of my friend if a situation that doesn't sit right with them and they communicated it and stepped away from it. That shows class, elegance, respect. Healthy selfishness is for every aspect of your life, whether in friendship, in family. Yes, because trust me, one of the biggest places that you need to implement healthy selfishness is with family, especially African homes. I'll be honest, especially African homes and their high expectations of you. It doesn't have a limit, it does not have exceptions. Put your foot on the ground and back away. Back away, step away from situations that drain you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, family, friends, relationships, day-to-day living, your job, your colleagues, your manager, your bosses, normal people on the street. It applies to everyone, especially family, friends, and relationships, like romantic relationships. These are the most important and delicate parts of your life that could easily drain the life out of you. You could easily lose yourself in those situations or those aspects of your life. Anything at this point, as long as you're not okay with it, you have every right to walk away from it. It doesn't matter what it is. If it doesn't align with you, it doesn't align with you, and nobody should have a problem with it. Whoever has a problem with it can take it up with God. This is how I am naturally in life. That's why I'm saying this is something that I didn't have to work on. This is something that I've always known. This is something I've always lived by. If you don't like me, if you don't like my choices that I make based off of how rewarding it is to me, that's fine. I'm going to give you a couple things that I do in my life, I've been doing for years. I think it's going to be an amazing start to you being selfish in a good way. You prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your happiness, prioritizing your joy. Now, the first thing, which I feel like a lot of people don't like to hear, and I've seen people talk about this on TikTok, and people in the comments are just like, who do you think you are? Why would you set such a standard? You must think you're all that. Look, I don't care. Make it a rule in your life for people to earn a seat at your table. Earn your attention, your time, your space, your vibe, your energy. Show me who you are, what you bring to my table, what value you add in my life before I let you in. I'm not just going to let anybody into my space, my good energy that I've worked so hard to protect, to build, to make it so sweet. I'm not just going to let anybody in. So you have to earn a seat at my table. You have to show me the essence of you being in my life. Why are you in my life? Why do you want to be in my life? You're not just going to be in my life to occupy space. I've said it a million times. I am one of those people that would not just have people for the sake of having people. I'm not that kind of girl. I'd rather be alone. I'd rather be single. I'd rather not have anybody than to just have people that are filling up space. No, I don't need that. I am enough. I can definitely entertain myself. I can do a lot for myself that will make me happy. So why do I need you in my life? And that's the point I'm trying to make. Why do you have that person in your life? Why do you have all those people in your life? What value do they add? What do they bring to the table? How essential is their friendship or that relationship in your life? You having communication with them on a daily, does it bring anything to your life? Does it add any value? Does it change the person that you are for a better person? I just can't have people to have people in my life, and this is how I've always been. This is the reason why it's easy for me to isolate. It's easy for me to do solo things, because I'm not just going to have anybody to just have anybody. Sometimes I fall short, but this is something that I live by. You haven't proven yourself. You don't add any value in my life. You don't deserve a second of thought in my head or in my mind. I'm not just going to waste space. And granted, there are some times that people just come into your life. You have like a quick good time with them. You get carried away. I've gotten carried away a lot of times where I would think about a particular person, and the fact that things are not really going the way I expected it to go, I would think about it so much for a very long time. For a second, I just have to stop and think, me allowing this person to occupy my mind, to occupy my day, who is this person again? Like, what has this person done for me? Has this person impacted my life in any good way? No, they haven't. I still have all the problems that I have. I still have all the daily stress that I have. I still need a life coach. I'm still dealing with things on my own. They've added no value to my life. So why am I thinking about them so much? Why am I letting this bother me so much? A lot of people will be like, oh, you must think you're all that. That's the reason why you have this. Yeah, I think I'm all that. I think I deserve that because I put in a lot of work to better myself, to do good for myself, to live a better life, to be happy, to provide for myself, to do all of these things for myself. I am speaking to you, look the way I look, smell the way I smell, put together. For you to even pick an interest in me is because you like what you see. You like how I'm composed. You like how I look. You're not just going to come into my life just to sit and admire that. That's not how it works. You need to come into my life and contribute to that. Whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, you need to do something. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. People that complain about other people having standards, I'm just like, you have a lot of work to do on yourself, boo. You that see this babe as having a problem or this person as having a problem because they set their bar so high, you have a problem because yours is in the mud. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone's cup needs to have a bit of you or a sprinkle of you. Absolutely not. Now, the second thing is stop being too available. Most of the mess that people get into these days, when I watch stories online, they could have definitely been avoided if you weren't available or you said you weren't available, but because you're too available, people get to mistreat you. People get to take you for granted. You honestly don't even have time for yourself because when somebody calls you, you're there. I always say this thing and sometimes it comes off as being mean or just being a horrible person, but I don't mind. I will not always be there for you. I will not always be your go-to person. And I think people need to start accepting this if you want to have a better experience with life. If you want to be truly happy, you want to get things done in your life, you want to hit your goals, stop being everyone's 911. I mean, who is your 911 when you think about it? Because sometimes we get so lost in servicing other people's needs and life and then forgetting our own. Who is your 911? And in most cases, when you actually do need people, you don't see them. You have to start scouting through your list of people. Everyone's going to have an excuse because everyone is typically looking out for themselves. Why are you not looking out for yourself? You care about everybody so much, making sure everybody is happy. You forget your own happiness. You forget the things that bring you joy. You forget yourself. Stop being too available. And this applies to everything and everyone. Family, friends, especially family in this case. Family are typically the ones that feel entitled the most to your time, to you as a human being, because they feel like, oh, we have the same blood, so you need to do things to make me happy. You need to live for me as well. As you live for yourself, you live for me. Always put me in your plans or in your budget. When I need you, you need to show up because we're family. No, if you're not available, you're not available, and don't try to squeeze yourself to be available. I've said this so many times, and people that know me in my life, people that I've kept in my life, people that have been in my life, right? They understand this. I will not always be there. But the times that I'm there, sis, I am there in full. Nothing is distracting me because I have created time to be there. I'm not the on the whim, out the go. I'm not that kind of person. I create time for certain things just so I'm conscious. I am aware of what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And I can also deliver in my full capacity. I don't like to do things half-baked. You need to set that level of selfishness where it's like, I'm not always going to be there when you call. I'm not going to be running and sprinting or get on a flight or I'm not going to be there. But when I will be there in my full capacity. I would not have any distractions. You will have my full attention because I have set out time to be there for you, which is what I feel like is more important than doing things sporadically or doing things just because, or grumbling through the things that I'm doing for you, not really being happy about the things that I'm doing for you. I'm doing things because you want me to, not because I truly want to. I'm here because you want me to be here, but not because I really want to. Displeasing myself to please you again. So you cannot force the other person to be there for you when they don't have the capacity to be there for you. They cannot force you to do the same. But when you both have that capacity to be there for each other, you ride it through the storm. You do what's supposed to be done. And that's how I like friendship. That's how I like family relations. That's how I like relationships, right? I'm going to make myself be there because I I want to be there, not because it's an obligation for me to be there. My third habit is take your me days seriously. I've spoken about me days a lot on this channel, how important it is for you to take time for yourself. Set lazy days that is just about you to do whatever you want for you with no interruptions. And I don't joke with this day. I have said it a lot of times. Sometimes I don't even speak to anybody. I don't want to answer calls. I don't want to be in anyone's event, anyone's life. I don't want to hear how anyone's day is going because I'm focused on mine. Let everybody focus on what they're doing for that day. I take my me days so seriously. I plan things that I want to do that actually make me fulfilled and happy. I want to look back at that day or those days that I took and be like, oh, it was so worth it. Like, I really needed that. Like, it was refreshing. I feel different. I feel fulfilled. I feel happy. I'm able to continue my life now after actually that reset. I take those me days as a mini reset as well because life as a whole is a lot. So when you get some time to yourself, take it seriously. I might not respond to text messages, calls. I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm not communicating. I just want to be left alone to focus on me. I'm going to do only the things that I want to do, how I want to do it. I'm going to go where I want to go. Even if I don't want to go anywhere that day, I'm just going to be home doing self-care things, watching a series, reading a book. Anything I decide to do that day, it's for me. I'm not going to let anybody come in between that. This can be negative, selfish to people who want you to be there for them every single day, every time they call. But it's time for you to stop doing that. It takes away from your reset time, it takes away from your refresh days, it takes away from you mentally. Because when do you even have time to listen to your own thoughts? When do you have time to look at your drawing board and ask yourself, oh, what am I doing wrong? How are we so far in terms of hitting our goals? When do you have time to reflect on you? Because people that don't have me days, people that don't have days where they just want to be alone, I don't know how you all do it. You cannot convince me that you have a mind of your own if you're always around people. You can't convince me that no one has influence on you or the way you live your life is not influenced by the people that you're constantly around, because it's almost impossible. And sometimes you don't even think that people influence your thoughts or influence your doings, your choices, because it has become so used to you. That is now your lifestyle, to be around those people, or unconsciously you start to behave like them, you start to do things like them. I feel like when you've gotten to a point that people get mad at you for doing things alone, then you've reached that exact sweet spot of self-love and self-care. You'll be like, yeah, I will do things with you, but not on these days, because these days are for me to do things myself. Now, the next habit, I've personally been called out a few times in my personal life. Definitely something that a lot of people notice about me once they spend good time with me. Learn to do things at your own pace. I do things at my pace, at my capacity, at my availability, as per my mood, when I want to, how I want to. And yeah, this can come off as being selfish, but I'm not going to inconvenience myself to make you happy. If I can't do something right now, I can't get to something right now, understand that. But I will get to it when I can. I'm not going to rush myself. I'm not going to put myself on a constant fight or flight mode or have anxiety, which I already struggle with, just because of somebody else. So I will pick up the call when I want to pick up the call, or I feel like it's a good time to be on the phone, and I will respond to the messages when I feel like it's a good time to respond to it, when I am free to respond to it. What I have learned though is communicate that, which is why I said earlier, like, I can understand when somebody comes to me with, you know, this being a negative thing, right? I wouldn't say anything previously. I'll just get to it when I get to it, right? But I have learned that I have to communicate that, oh, I'm not getting to it right now because I don't have the capacity to handle this now, but I will when I get it. Like, once I have that capacity, you'll be the first person that I would reach out to, or that I would handle. That makes sense. So that's the only part. Like, you just need to communicate what you're doing. But if you don't communicate it, it might be urgent for them. They might have situations or something that, you know, needs your urgent attention. So many times I have gone back on my words, letting people take up my time, letting people squeeze me into certain things that I don't want to do. And then I struggle to make sure that I meet up. If people are offended that you're taking your sweet time to do that, then they can take it up from you and finish it up as quickly as they want it to. If they can do it themselves, why do they need you to do it in the first place? But this is how you know how to do it. This is the way that you do it that brings peace to your heart, that brings calmness and stillness to your heart. So if they can do it in a much more beneficial way to them, then they can take it up and do it. Which is usually my answer. If somebody's like, oh, you're wasting time to get back to me on this, I thought you'd be quicker. I'm like, okay, if you found a quicker way, I don't mind, you can go with that, but this is what I have the capacity for. Can be a bit rude or selfish again, but that's what you truly have the capacity for. And people need to respect people's wishes, people's pace. Your pace is what's unique to you. If you have a bigger option, go with that big option, because mine is mine and what makes me feel good, and I'm not going to step out of that just because you want me to step out of that. Now, the next tip I have for you guys, or next habit I have for you guys, is learning to say no without feeling guilt. Learn to change plans, cancel plans, change your mind on certain things without feeling guilt. I've spoken about saying no in so many topics, so many videos, because the importance of saying no is essential to your life, essential for good living, for peace and harmony. A lot of drama and bad situations we find ourselves or we get into could have been avoided if we just opted out, if we just followed our instincts and said no, if we just let it be. You got that tiny feeling, you got that uneasy feeling about something, about that opportunity, about that invitation, about that message, about that person. You had that feeling. Trust that feeling. And it doesn't matter if you've already committed to it initially, you have the option, you have the choice to pull out. You have the option to go back and be like, oh, I was mistaken. I'm no longer interested. I can no longer do this. I can no longer attend. I can no longer accept this. And that's completely fine. Once I don't feel like doing it, it doesn't matter if I told you last year when you initially told me, yeah, last year is different from this year. How I was last year, kind of mental space I was in when you asked me could change, has changed. So I don't feel comfortable anymore. Maybe I felt comfortable in the beginning. That's the reason why I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this. Or maybe I was on the fence, which I'm going to say, if you're ever on the fence on something, even if it's the slightest bit of doubt, step away from it. Don't move forward with it. You have the choice to say no. Even if it's the day of the situation, the day of the event, you're dressed up. It's like 1 hour before it, 30 minutes before it, you don't feel like it. Just back out. It's better for you to back out than for you to deal with something way worse than what would have happened if you actually just backed out and said no and moved on and forged on with your life. If you don't feel good about something, you don't feel good about something. Don't let anybody gaslight you and tell you, oh, you shouldn't be feeling the way you're feeling. No. I already took out the band from the wig. Now I'm just trying to finger curl it after putting some water on it. I want the curls to be well defined at the end or at the tip of the hair. So I'm just going to go in like this, wrap it all around, hold it tight and release. This is how this side looks finger curled. Do you guys see the difference? And I'm going to also try and dry this out as well, but let me go ahead and do this side first. This is the final look for the hair. Let me just come up a bit so you see how it looks. I know you guys saw me use a blow dryer, but it's not fully dry. I would say it's about 80-90% dry or 80-85% dry, but this is how I love to rock my curly wigs now. The lace is flawless. It is 13x4. I was able to work with it effortlessly. Go ahead and shop Asteria Hair. You will not be disappointed. All the links are going to be down below. Go and check out the wig. Go and check out Asteria Hair. Healthy selfishness is needed for a peaceful, stress-free life. If you want to live life authentically, you want to live life for you, you want to do things that make you happy, and if you also want to make sure that you're optimizing your full potential with whatever you do in life, you're hitting your goals, you need to start practicing healthy selfishness in your life. And now I hope this video gave you clear understanding of the usefulness and efficiency of healthy selfishness in your life. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you selfish? Have you practiced healthy selfishness in your life? Have you even heard of healthy selfishness in your life before? I want to know, so let me know in the comment section below. Follow me on all my socials, Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to have them linked below. Also, don't forget to shop Asteria Hair, which I'm also going to have the links down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.
Those of you that are listening in your car, at your job, you at home, I don't care where you at. Turn this up right now, because we're about to go in. Hey, sit there.